Hello friends and welcome to the Weekend Catch-Up Club, the coffee morning show brought to you live every Saturday direct to Facebook and Twitch and available later on demand at youtube.com/gamertagged and podcast services. Joining me today is one of my favourite guests that I've ever had on the show. The fourth appearance being on the Weekend Catch-Up Club podcast. It is, of course, Christina Harper.
Hello.
How are you doing?
4 times.
4 times. I was going through the catalogue yesterday and it was episode 18 was your first appearance. Then it was episode 28, then 35, and now here we are on episode 59. That's wild.
Crazy.
It's crazy,
in between,
right?
We've had so many different guests as well, which has been really awesome to see. So it's crazy.
I know. So thank you for agreeing to keep coming back. You're a glutton for punishment. What's that all about?
You are welcome. I love talking to you. It's fun. How
are things going?
It's been a busy 2 months. So yeah.
What's been going on?
A lot of things. So obviously I've just bought my house as well. So I've been doing bits of the house and stuff. Doing all the garden, all the the boring adult things that are in life. And I have switched jobs as of Monday as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so unfortunately I am leaving Skyhook. Well, actually, was it Saturday today, isn't it? Yeah,
technically
yesterday
left, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's technically yesterday was my last official day as in a play, which is really sad. We went out on Thursday for the Lord Moen Sim launch party, and it was really fun. And I was nearly in tears though because they gave me gifts and stuff, and I was like, you didn't have to do that. And then I was just having so much fun with everyone, and I was like, I'm gonna miss you guys so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's exciting things planning ahead. So I'll be moving to TT Games on Monday.
Yep.
As an associate external producer. So that's super exciting.
That is awesome because you're producing at Skyhook Games, right? Was that your first main producer role where you kind of moved into that kind of new avenue for your career?
Yeah, so I was an assistant producer at Skyhook, and that was my first ever production role, which was kind of cool. Originally I was in QA, so I did a jump to production. But yeah, it's my first ever production thing, and my first ever title in production was Lord Moen Sim as well, which is quite nice. So.
That game's just been kind of blowing up with fans that are just want to mow their lawn in different patterns and crazy pimping out of their lawnmowers as well. It's so funny to see.
Do you know what? It's blown. We said this in the studio. It's a bit of a niche market, so we're gonna see how it goes. But we were gonna make it anyway. It's fun, So it's a bit of a niche market. So, but there are a lot of people who are Lord Moen enthusiasts. So we released it, and it just. I don't know how it blew up so much. It's just crazy. But there's a Discord as well, and everyone in that Discord loves this game. They love Lord Moen in real life. They love I've even started to notice stripes in grass. Whenever I go past grass, I'll look at it now and just be like, oh, that lawn's got stripes in it, or that looks a bit overgrown, or that looks nice. I always look at grass now. It's really weird. Can't say much about my garden, unfortunately. It's a bit of a mess, but
can you spot the grade of a cut just by looking at it now? It's is that a 3mm cut? Is that an 8mm cut? Just by glancing at the neighbours' gardens.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there a little bit. But it's crazy, and we had more views than Call of Duty Warzone at one point on Twitch, and that was just it was literally Lord Moen Sim, Call of Duty. I was like, whoa, what is going on? So good. But yeah, it was received really well. Everyone's enjoying it, and because the developers are really quick to reply as well, they do pick up everything in the Discord and they do act on it as well. So they listen to the community as well, which is great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm hoping there's going to be a lot of future stuff for Lord Moen Sim because it's really cool.
That is wild. That is wild. So tell me about the big move to Traveller's Tales Games, like the Lego company that does all of those amazing Lego titles. How did that come about? And I'm assuming you're like totally hyped and excited for it.
Just got an email saying we like your CV. I think it was mainly like I did quite a lot of stuff in PlayStation that I worked with like external studios and parties and stuff like that. So I managed like multinational teams and stuff. So I think that was one of the things that was like quite handy for me to
Totally.
get this role. But yeah, I don't really know much about what I'm going to be doing apart from what was on the job listing. Which is like it's publishing, so the publishing side. So yeah,
exciting stuff, exciting times.
Yeah, and I assume the first thing I'll see is going to be like Star Wars and stuff like that. So that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it always blows my mind how like not mature in tone, but how mature the Lego games have come in terms of the fidelity, the craft. Because I remember way back when they used to just be the movie kind of spins on the games, or sorry, the games were movie spins. And there was no voice acting or anything like that. It was just tongue-in-cheek humor of the scenes of the games put to gameplay, and they were having some fun with it. Whereas now they properly like write their own kind of storylines, they write dialogue, they're all voice acted now, and they just keep pushing and pushing how high a fidelity you can render these little plastic blocks and still make them incredibly family friendly, but also appeal to adults. Like, you know, when I was a kid, Lego was the toy, and amongst some other like Thundercats toys and He-Man figures and stuff like that, but Lego was like the imagination toy. And it always blows my mind that there's always an extra kind of push that the developers can do to render these little blocks. I mean, that game that came out actually just recently, it was a very like a chill Lego kind of experience, but it was all ray traced, and it was all these little like miniature world kind of things, and you had to like build the blocks and solve the puzzles. And I can't remember the name of it now, that's really going to annoy me, but it was all like rendered with like ray tracing, and it's like, oh my god, this looks incredibly like real. It's wild. It's going to bother me now what the name of that is, and God, I can't wait to see what the devs do with the next generation of tech to render these lifelike plastic blocks. It's going to be wild.
I just remember what's called. It's Lego Builder's Journey.
That's it. That's
the one. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I saw the trailer for the Star Wars one, Star Wars Saga, and yeah, it just looks so beautiful. Like, it's so crazy. Like, at the moment, before I moved house, I started playing Lego Harry Potter, and I platinumed years 1 to 4. And recently I've just picked up 5 to 7. Like, not ironically as well, which is the thing. I just wanted to play Lego Harry Potter. So I'm like trying to like platinum that as well. But yeah, I sort of like in the past few months I started to like Lego again. A few months ago I bought my little Lego spaceship because I like space stuff. So I bought that and I was like, oh my god, I think this is like the first piece of Lego I've ever personally bought myself, because my parents used to buy me like Lego Harry Potter sets. So we had everything. You know, we had like the trapdoor with Fluffy on it. We had Snape's potion class. We had like all the Harry Potter Lego sets and stuff, which my niece now has actually. So she's got all the Harry Potter stuff. So yeah, I've sort of fallen in love with Lego the past few months as well. And it doesn't help that Rowan loves Lego, so yeah.
Do you get free Lego kits from work? That's the like the big perk, right? I would imagine, like free access to all the Lego stuff to play around and play test. You know, in the interest of research, you gotta like scan this stuff in, feel how tactile it is. It's all research, but you're really just getting to play with Lego blocks. I hope so.
Have no idea. Like I don't really know anything about my new role. I just know that it's publishing and Lego, so I don't really know what's going to happen. So I'm excited.
I've got this image in my mind that your desk is all Lego blocks. Like the whole office is just made from Lego blocks. That has to be like a thing. That would be amazing.
Oh my god! I did go to Wilmslow on Tuesday actually with my mum shopping. She'd never been before, and she just wanted to see what it was like.
Yeah.
If I have to like travel down there or whatever. And I obviously know what the studio looks like at the front. And she was like being so nosy, and she was like peeking in the window, and I was like, what are you doing? And she was like, I saw a Lego poster and a giant Lego figure, and I was like, oh my god, this is so embarrassing. I had walked off by now. I was like, I'm not gonna stand here and be embarrassing. And she was just like having a nose, and I was like, yeah, okay, it's Lego. Bless her. She's so funny, bless her. But yeah, it was nice to actually like see the studio, I guess, before I worked there. So yeah.
I'm assuming you and the team are still going to be working from home for a good while before everything is properly back in the offices.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing that I always find really quite interesting and quite challenging whenever I'm lucky enough to have a guest on that has maybe started a new role, and like their only experience of the studio is remote, and it's not the same buzz of like getting your picture taken, like the selfie in front of the big logo is like, or the big statues in the foyers that you always see. It's like, I'm working for this developer now. Whereas, it kind of takes the shine off it, maybe just a little bit, because you don't get to have that moment of walking through the door to say, yeah, I work for this developer now. That kind of thing, that kind of buzz.
True. I think this is the second job I've started in remotely now, I think. Yeah, because when I left PlayStation, we were still remote, and when I joined Skyhook, we were still remote, and it was only in the past 2 months, I think, when we started, because we got a new office and we moved into the office and stuff, and now for TT, going to be starting remotely, which is crazy.
I know.
It's very weird getting a job during a pandemic that is remote, because you meet everyone via video, and then you go into the office and you're like, oh, you look like that on video, and it's like, well, yeah, it's me.
It's like you're way taller than what you comes across in your VC kind of headshot, or you're really small. You're like, wow, you're really tiny. That kind of flip side to it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very interesting. It's good though. Like, I don't mind working remotely. I actually enjoy working remotely. It takes my commute time off. It makes me less tired. Yeah. It makes me more focused on my actual work because I'm not tired from a journey. At lunchtime as well, I tend to put my washing on, run downstairs, put the washing on,
get
my lunch. And while I'm having my lunch, my washing's getting done, and then later on when I finish work, I can put it out and hang it up. And I've also got Pedro as well to look after, so it's quite nice not leaving him in a cage all day. I can like let him just free roam. So but yeah, it's definitely interesting working remotely and getting a new job. I'm
the same, because I get to spend like way more time with my son now. All of that stuff I would have completely missed, being like commuting to the office, because I used to go into the office about like 7 o'clock in the morning. I used to be like really early to miss the traffic, and then leave a little bit earlier as well. But I would have like completely missed his breakfast time or that kind of thing, or missing like cuddles during the day. And we have a dog as well, so now I get to just say, okay, 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock, I do like a hard cut off. This is the time where I get to take the dog out and spend a little bit of time with him, get away from the computer. And I have to do that because he needs walked every single day. I used to come home when it was dark and it was horrible. I used to take him for a walk. I used to hate it. And then like you begin to kind of like resent that kind of like, oh, I got to take the dog out. And it's not the dog's fault at all. But now I actually get to go out during the day. It's nice and bright. Some days it's like really sunny, and I get to have fun with the dog, and I don't have to think about work or stress or anything like that for like an hour and a half or something. And then I come back, and then I'm just like buzzing to focus for the next few hours of the working day. And it's been amazing. And I love the hybrid models that a lot of people are trying to adopt. A lot of companies are trying to adopt them. What was really interesting, and I know I'm rambling here, so we'll get back to you in a wee second. A lot of like design agencies that I've had on the show, they've decided to go fully remote, and they're giving up the office entirely, which I thought was really fascinating, like really interesting. I thought, wow, that's a bold move to go we don't want the office culture like at all. We still want the culture of getting staff together, but not necessarily in an office environment. We'll do like get-togethers, regular team get-togethers in a different context, but not in the office. And what was coming out of that is the opportunity to open up the talent pool to pretty much anywhere in the UK, because they're going, or in the world, to be fair, any time zone as well, to a degree, is we're not shutting the door on anybody to say you have to relocate here for a trial period and we'll see if it works out or not. So there's that massive upheaval and that massive stress on the individual, but also on the company to find the person. And I thought that was like super impressive. I think they're very much in the minority, but it was interesting to see, oh, wow, this could be a thing that maybe more companies begin to look at, say, actually, we can do fully remote. It's better for our staff. It's better for everybody's well-being. And it could be the future.
Well, a lot of studios as well, like some of them rent their office space as well. Like some studios don't own the buildings.
Yeah, that's
so,
right.
You know, it saves them money and cost and stuff like that for if they just didn't have a studio. The only flip side is if you are like, if you work in the office and that is your role, as in like, I don't know, security receptionist or something.
Yeah, office manager or something, yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit tough because obviously, you know, it's potential of like job loss. So there's pros and cons of it. I don't know. I think it's still good to have a studio because people do want to go in. You know, not everyone wants to stay at home.
Yeah, exactly.
I know one of my friends at PlayStation, he goes in every day, and I was like, "Do you not like working at home?" And he was like, "No, I hate it." So he goes in every day, to the office and stuff. And some people just want to stay at home and do it. So if you're still getting the work done, it's great. Like games are still coming out, still getting published, they're still getting developed. You know, there can be a little bit of delay and a halt in like the production of them. It's only like, you know, a month or a few days. Like Keena's was like a few weeks, wasn't it? A month. It's coming out.
It was like a month or something. It's next week.
Yeah.
It's next week, Christina. What on earth? Yeah.
So excited. It looks amazing. Oh my god. I can't wait. I actually saw someone in town the other day wearing a Keena t-shirt, and I was like, I do want to be like, are you excited? Imagine just looking at them.
Yeah, randos on the street.
Yeah. How exciting is that though? It's actually like coming out soon.
I know. I'm so hyped for that because I remember the original. Like what was last year, the PlayStation 5 reveal event, like last June or something it was.
Oh, gosh,
and that was one of the games, and it was a studio I'd never heard of. It was this like DreamWorks Pixar like animated style, and I believe that the actual, I think it's a 2-man team or something. It may be more now, but I think their background is like animated films. So you can really tell that from like the design of the characters, the design of the little like environments, the little like furry like creature things. I don't really know the name of them, but they look super adorable. Begging to be like the rots, begging to be a plushie of some kind, like just everywhere, cushions, plushies, everything. And I'm thinking, oh my god, that's like one of the most exciting games that I'm now looking forward to on the PlayStation 5. And flash forward a year. Pandemic lockdown later, it's within like 4 days it comes out. I cannot believe it, and I was gutted because thinking, it's only for PlayStation 5 and nobody can get a PlayStation 5. There's none in stock. I'm gonna miss out. But then as I found out, it's actually coming to PS4 as well, so I won't miss out. I'm gonna be there day one to check out this game, and it just looks amazing. I can't wait.
Yeah. The thing with the PlayStation shortage as well is like, I'm glad that developers are still doing things on PS4. Even if we had all the PlayStations in the world and every single person had one, you sort of like, I don't want to say, you sort of like not eliminating, but like people miss out if you don't put it on PS4 as well. So I'm kind of really glad that developers are still looking after the PS4. Especially because you can't get one. It's hard to get one, and some people can't afford to buy a PlayStation 5 right now.
Totally,
so I'm really glad. Yeah, I'm really glad that things are still being put onto PS4, because someone was saying the other day, how I think it was just like a random Twitter thing. Everyone's coming to PS5 PlayStation 4 is getting like deleted, and I was just like, well, it's not.
Over a
Like,
while, yeah.
developers still care about the PS4, you know. So I hope things are still going to get made for PS4 because it's good. It's good for player base as well, you know.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, it's absolutely like there's over 100 million PlayStation 4s, and there's a fraction of that for PS5s. And as you said, yeah, not everybody can afford to drop £500 on a brand new console and a game and multiple games. So the fact that it needs to be supported, it's just financially common sense. I get where people are coming from to say, oh, this is supposed to be the next generation. We want to see the tech get pushed forward. We want to see the consoles get fully utilized. We don't want the games to be quote unquote held back by the technology of, you know, 8-year-old consoles. But at the same time, games are really freaking expensive to make. They're really difficult to make. Why would you only release it on, I'll get a random number here, like a 10 million or 20 million user base when you've got over like 120 million already installed that could be picking up your game as well? It doesn't make any sense. So, and as somebody who doesn't have a PlayStation 5, I would love to get one. The fact that God of War Ragnarok is coming to PS4, Horizon Forbidden West is coming to PS4, Kena and a whole bunch of others are going to be cross-generational. I'm loving that fact. It's like I won't miss out because I would love to drop, you know, that the console cost plus all those games is going to be about £700. That's a lot of money just to play those games, and I won't miss out because I can just pick them up as and when just on my PlayStation 4. Sure, they're not going to load as fast, maybe like that. They maybe won't have as much bells and whistles, but you know what? Spider-Man Miles Morales on the PlayStation 4 Pro looks absolutely insane. So I'm confident I'm not going to be like losing out on a particular experience for these games. I'm still going to get to play them. And that's a great thing for anybody that is concerned about, oh, I've only got PlayStation 4. I'm not going to be getting the best experience. You're going to be getting an amazing experience. And that's the great thing. You know what?
Graphics look great. The games look beautiful, but it's, for me, I like the narrative. I like the quality of it. How do I say this? Yeah, so it's not the graphics that bother me. You could have like not so great graphics but have an amazing story. It's the characters I want to get invested in. It's the story I want to get invested in. It's the environment I want to fall in love with. It's not always about, oh, I can see every wrinkle on Kratos' face. It's like, you know, it's not about that. It's about like you're all playing the same story. It's the same storyline across. It doesn't matter what console you've got it on. It's the same game. You know, you're all gonna see the same cinematics and the same characters and the same voice lines and stuff like that. So, graphics isn't the thing that makes the games. It's the amount of like love people put into the narrative and the character development and stuff like that. So, I do think it can be a bit stressful sometimes when people are like, oh, but the graphics aren't great. And it's like, did you get a good experience? Yes, you did. People worked hard on this stuff.
100%. Yeah, I know. That's one of the things, because before the consoles launched, I was obviously reading the big headlines, like they're all going to be pushing for 4K 60 and all this kind of thing. And I was like, F yeah, let's do this 4K 60. I'm all in on this is the next generation experience. And at first, I was playing the games at like the performance modes of 60 frames per second, and I was like, man, this is so smooth. But then after a while, my eyes begin to hurt, and you know, I'm in my 40s. I've got bad eyes anyway. But it's like motion smoothing on your TV, where it's like it's too fast kind of thing. It's almost like moving too smoothly or too fast, and I was getting like a lot of eye strain. And weirdly, and I'm probably going to get like firebombed in the comments for this, but I've actually started to go back to 30 frames per second on most of my games. Like give me like the resolution mode or something like that, because I do appreciate like the high resolution, the sharpness of like textures and things like that. I love kind of that, but just kind of like halving that frame rate back down to 30. For like Assassin's Creed that I was playing Valhalla on, Immortals Phoenix Rise, I was going back down to 30. Hellblade, I just finished recently, back on the 30, because they're like so cinematic kind of games. Yep. I can understand it for like a shooter or something that is like a high action, maybe intense. You do need those high frame rates, but something like super cinematic, I'm thinking, I actually prefer going back to 30. And it looks amazing. It feels great, and it doesn't hurt my eyes because I'm old. Pretty much, just the takeaway.
Yeah, I suppose with like FPSs and stuff, you definitely need like, I don't know, the LOS as well, and LOS? Line of sight, no, that's a, it's like a Warcraft term.
That's a different term.
What's like the distance and stuff like that, you need to have like, good graphics so you can see everything that's going on.
Yeah.
When it comes to single player games though, as long as you're playing it and it's not, you can make out what's going on, it's not too bad. So
Totally,
yeah.
yeah, I know.
You
Yeah.
also just mentioned Hellblade as well. Oh, I haven't finished it yet. I'm like
Where
I'm
are
like
you?
halfway
Where are you up
through
to?
it.
Okay.
I haven't played it for like a while, but I think I'm like halfway through, almost done with it, and it's such a beautiful game, and it's just gone
Yeah.
on sale on Xbox as well, and
Yeah. It's
the amount of love
amazing.
that
Yeah.
goes, yeah,
It's
just
like, it blows me away. Like I hadn't played it for a little while. I thought I played it originally on the PlayStation 4 when it
mm,
released 2017 or roughly or thereabouts. I can't remember now.
can't remember.
And it just got patched for the Series X, like
Yeah.
for next gen.
Mhm.
So I put it in and I thought, this looks like somehow it looks even better. Like they've taken the ultra settings from PC or something like that and put it into this. So it looks even more photorealistic. And oh my God, Melina Jurgen's performance as Senua still blows my mind of like how gut wrenching and emotional that performance is. And like the audio design in that game is just like a whole other level as well. It's like if you've got surround sound headphones, God, it's essential. Like the voices in your head, like the mimics. Oh my God, it's like deeply disturbing, but it's a phenomenal experience.
So there's actually I don't know how many dev diaries they've done since the first one, the first release of it. But there was one dev diary which I think it was the first one they ever did. And I can't pronounce her name. Melina.
Melina, Melina
Melina.
Jurgens. Yeah,
Melina, that's the one. I hate butchering people's names.
I know.
Melina, she spent a lot of time with I'm pretty sure this is correct from the diaries. She spent a lot of time with people who like had psychosis and stuff like that, and she sort of, because they wanted to deliver a proper experience, not just a stereotypical this is what this illness is meant to look like sort of thing. So they actually spent a lot of time with like people and patients and stuff like that to actually understand, you know, what's going on, and you can definitely see that reflected in Senwa, because it's just crazy. And yeah, the noise, it's such a crazy like experience.
Yeah,
You definitely have to wear headphones for it though, because you don't get the full effect. Like Sam was, she, oh, hello. British just walked in. She has psychosis, and you really feel it when you've got headphones on as well, because it just like immerses you totally in the gameplay.
yeah,
It's such a beautiful game. I love it.
yeah. It's like the really interesting take on Norse mythology as well. It's not like high fantastical, like Norse lore and legends and myths that we're maybe accustomed to from other mediums.
Yeah.
It's just like a really great, like, exposition in games is usually, and in movies for that matter as well, it's usually the point at which the flow, the pacing like grinds to a halt, because it has to explain like what's going on, what's the history of the world, etc. But in this, they're tied to these little like collectible lore stones, and the performance acting from the character Druth, who does like the narration, somebody from some Senua's past, talking about Loki and Helheim and like the gods Odin and Jotunheim. It's just like it's fascinating. It's like an audiobook as you're like walking through this world of deep trauma and psychosis and mental health. But it's such an experience. And I know it gets branded a lot of the times as like oh, it's just a walking simulator. But you know what? It's really not. It is something so special. And I fell in love with it. And playing it again is like, oh my God. And there was actually so many parts to the game which I had actually forgotten about. I always remembered like the first two gods of Valravn and Surt. I always remembered that quite clearly, like the beats to get there and defeat those bosses. But kind of like after that, I had forgotten pretty much what happens in the game. So replaying that, and we had some viewers come in because I was streaming it as well, and they were like, "What is this? This looks phenomenal." And it's like, yeah, this is Hellblade, and I am so hyped for Hellblade 2 whenever that comes out, with what Ninja Theory can do with that game, because the teaser videos that they've dropped on Hellblade 2, it looks insane. It looks insane.
I can't remember what the band's called, but the bands who were doing the music for it is just, oh my god, it's so good. But yeah, speaking of Norse mythology, I know he does this every time I speak to someone on the headset. He always just pops in the chat. Do you want to say hi quickly?
Hello, Pedro. Audio listeners are missing out.
Speaking of Norse mythology, God of War. God of War looks so good. Like, I've seen like a bit more games like Valhalla as well. They're sort of getting back into like Norse mythology sort of things, and I'm here for it. Like, I am invested in Norse stuff now. Like, Tomb Raider did it as well. In what was, I can't remember, there was one of the games where you actually were talking about Thor and stuff. I think it was Underworld. But you went in to like this big room, and it was like suspended platforms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was Tomb Raider. I can't remember. So there's all that and stuff, and then I started playing Valhalla, and I was like, oh my god, Norse mythology is so cool. And then Hellblade was doing it as well, and God of War is now, it's hyping it up a bit more as well with the new trailer. And ironically, like, so before the trailer got released for God of War, I had just finished reading a book, and it was called The Witch's Heart, and I picked it up in Forbidden Planet. Obviously the cover caught my eye, and I read the back of it, and it was like Loki and Angrboda and stuff like that, and I was like, okay, I don't know anything about this, so I'm going to pick it up. And I ended up like, oh no, stop it.
Pedro's causing chaos in the background.
He keeps knocking his litter tray, so I'm going to have to move it, unfortunately. And the story is about Loki and Angrboda, and she's called the Mother of Monsters because her children are essentially seen as monsters. And it tells you all about, like, it's written as a book though, so it's not like just facts and figures and stuff like that. It's like, it's a story, and it's so well done, and I just got invested in it. I binged it. I think I finished it in like a day or something. It was ridiculous.
Send me the link to that, because I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, it was really good. It wasn't even a long book either, but it told you all about like Loki's family and just what happened to the kids and stuff like that. And it's got me really hyped for Ragnarok now as well. Yeah. So I know you're really hyped for it as well. So
totally, that's what I think is awesome that Sony Santa Monica are doing. They're leaning into the proper myths rather than like the fantasy romantic versions of characters. I mean, Dad Bod Thor says it all. It's like, I love this depiction of Thor that they've done, and oh my god, the game just looks so phenomenal, and I can't wait to see where they take the narrative with Ragnarok. And one thing that the game director kind of said on the PlayStation 5 showcase, which is what we're mainly going to be talking about today, is that this is going to be this is the finale of the Ragnarok Norse saga. And I thought, oh wow, so it's only going to be 2 games, which I applaud them for doing that, because they're going to like obviously condense and make Ragnarok this incredible like game. It must be like completely epic in scale and content, of course, because it has to get from the end of God of War 4, where spoilers if you haven't played it, and if you haven't played it, shame on you. Like, Thor rocks up at the end of the cabin, and then the trailer opens up with pretty much like Thor is at the cabin. So it must be picking up immediately, which I love that they're doing that. From there all the way to Ragnarok, we actually get to see it or play it, or whatever context it's going to be included in the game. And Cory Barlog gave an interview into one of the like Engadget or something like that, one of the big channels, to say we didn't want players to have to wait 15 years to get a trilogy, because these games, like the first game took 5 years to develop. That's not even talking about like pre-production. It was more like 8 years. This game, by the time it comes out, most likely like a similar length of like 5 years. So if there was to be a third game, realistically, it's going to be like another 5 years. So they don't want to keep players waiting 15 years to be, or as he said, he doesn't want his kid to be in college by the time they finish the trilogy, the North Saga trilogy. So the fact that it's only going to be 2 games, I think that is so cool, because can you imagine just sitting down for, like, you've got God of War 1 and then you immediately play God of War Ragnarok. You don't have to wait like X number of years to play. You could just go like Lord of the Rings Extended Cuts Edition marathon weekend. You just go bang, bang, bang all the way through them. And you can do that with the games. That is, so good. I can't wait till next year.
I also love Corey Barlog. He's a genius. Like, I loved his little reveal. So he had his dev t-shirt on, and I loved my Twitter feed that day as well. All the devs were like, I'm on the dev team, and it was just like the sweetest thing ever, and they were all together watching the trailer. Corey Barlog's got like his little tape on, and he just goes, what the, and it's just like peel like his thing off, and he's like, I know what it's called now. But it was just really funny. But he's such a genius with his stuff. Like, he's very much loved in the community as well, which is really cool to see. But
his personality comes through. He's not like a typical like media bot where he has to only give specific answers. He actually has fun, and on that showcase, he was basically like taking the piss out of the presenter to say, "Oh, you'd like me to divulge some details." You know, he's so cool at being like relaxed and personable, and you're totally right. It's like the community loves him because he's the only, and this is a surprise for me as well. He's the only director to do a repeat. He's the only one to come back because he did God of War 2. I believe he like pretty much wrote God of War 3, but at that point he was off at like Crystal Dynamics doing the Tomb Raider and doing some other things, and then he came back for God of War 4, and he's the only director to actually do that. And I was like, oh yeah, I suppose that's right, because David Jaffe did the first game, he did the second game, I can't remember who did the third game, but then he came back for the fourth game, and now this is the fifth game. So it's like, oh yeah, there's only been like, I don't know who did Ascension, to be fair, but it's only like 6 games, 7 if you count the Vita. Ghost of Sparta, I think there's a couple of Vita games actually. It's like, oh yeah, there's only been like a few, like not that many games, like not a massive amount of games, but he's been the only repeat director. Damn.
Yeah, it's his baby, isn't it though? So like, I can't wait for it. It's going to be incredible. I love the first one. Yeah,
I got to replay it. I want to replay it like very, very soon. I have to replay it before the next one comes out anyway. So I don't know when that's going to happen. But
I'm half tempted to install Senua again as well.
You should. Oh my god, I don't know if it's been. I hope it's been upgraded for the PlayStation 5, but I don't know if it has. Maybe somebody in the chat or comments can let us know. But I definitely got a next gen boost for Xbox, but I don't know if that is because they are owned by Xbox now, so we just got the an upgraded version, or if it is like a PlayStation 5. I hope they rolled out for PlayStation 5 as well.
Yeah.
Because do you remember like a really weird bug in when the game first came out? There's a really weird bug, and it's this thing is chasing you in the dark, and you have a torch. But at this point in the game, you lose the torch, so you have to like run to the different light sources in the game. And there was a bug where if you accidentally run past one of the light sources to try and keep on going, then the checkpoint comes after that. Therefore, if you die before picking up the torch, you're in this infinite loop of just dying, and you can't do anything. You can't go back to where the light source is because the checkpoint is after the light source in the darkness, and this thing just keeps on killing you. And it was a game-breaking bug, and I know a lot of friends did that by mistake, and then they had to restart their game, and then they put it down. They didn't come back to it because it's like, oh, I've lost hours of progress. I'm not doing that again. And I don't know if they just patched it or what, but as I was playing it this time just this week, I remembered the spot. It's like, right, okay, Ross, don't sprint past this brazier of fire. You be sure to stop there and pick up the torch, and then you'll trigger the checkpoint. Because I think I remember that I did this myself the first time. I ran past it because this thing's chasing you. You're in a panic. You're not thinking straight. You run straight past it. You go for this kind of like bridge thing where there is a beam of light to safety, and that's where the checkpoint is. And I lost so many hours of progress doing that. So pro tip: whenever you come to that sequence, stop at the fire to don't break your game, basically. But I don't know if that was ever patched or not. I hope it was.
I didn't even hear about that, which is, well, I probably did, but I don't know. That's such a fascinating, like, just infinite loop of death.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh, and maybe this is deliberate. Maybe this is part of like the
No.
mental health like demon journey or something. But no, it was actually just player error by, and also the checkpoint triggering after like maybe just too late. It just had to be moved or something like that, like back a few like 30 seconds or something.
Yeah.
Within the
One of
level.
my favorite things about bugs is like as soon as that bug happens, especially in QA as well, when a bug happens, you remember it. And it
Yeah.
doesn't matter how far in development the game is, you will always remember that bug happened. And you'll always go to that specific spot and you will test to see if that bug has come back. And even when the game's released, I know I do this. I will go and see if that bug is still there or if I can do it again or break it
Yeah.
again. And it's always like, there's always this one bug that you just will not forget about in a certain game. I can't think of any on the top of my head, but actually no, I can. Horizon, there's a snap maw that broke on me, and I was able to go back to work and like repro it,
Yep.
which is very interesting. But I will never forget that snap maw. That snap maw it's forever ingrained in my head as being a little bug that I can never forget about. So yeah. That's what I love about
God.
bugs. You never forget them.
So Christina, obviously we kicked off with God of War Ragnarok, gushing about that and how awesome it looks. But the PlayStation 5 showcase was last week, I think it was last week, and there were so many bangers that just came out of nowhere. Holy shit! What? All these games.
I'm just Googling them.
I mean, Insomniac. Like what? What can you say about Insomniac? Jesus, yeah.
We were sat there. So me and Rowan were sat on the sofa, and I was obviously watching the showcase, and the trailer came on, and Rowan was like, "Oh, it's another DLC, Miles Morales." I was like, "Spider-Man 2, it's Spider-Man 2," and then he was like, "It's not Spider-Man 2, it's another DLC. Oh, it could be a Venom DLC," and I was like, "It's Spider-Man 2," and then the screen says Spider-Man 2. I was like, "Oh my god, that looks so good."
Yeah. I can't believe that they've actually got the Candyman himself, Tony Todd, to voice Venom as well.
Yeah.
That's some inspired casting. Oh my god, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Is it going to be 2-player? Is it, or do you toggle between them, or like does one player go Miles or other goes Peter?
This is what we were thinking as well. We were like, is it co-op? Because it would be really good if you could play it. So a bit like the Lego games where you can have you've got Ron, Hermione, and Harry, and you can switch between them if you're a single player, or you can play both of them if you're co-op. Something like that would be quite good. Like, so you could, you're not eliminated by the fact that you don't have anyone to play it with.
Yeah.
So that would be really cool.
I was wondering if you are playing it single player, which maybe a lot of people, myself probably will want to as well. If it operates like maybe you choose at the beginning who you want to play with, either Peter or Miles.
Oh yeah, okay.
Maybe you can switch between them on the fly as well. But maybe at the beginning you just pick the playthrough from Miles's perspective, from Peter's perspective, which could be really interesting. But then do something like what they did with maybe it dovetails as well. Second playthroughs are more valuable that way. But maybe it does something like what Batman Arkham Knight does, where you press like the combination buttons and you call in like Robin or Nightwing to do like the moves to help you out at certain times. Maybe it's a mechanic like that, or I don't know. I'm excited to just find out more about this game. But 2023 is so long away. So long away. Not fair.
My next one was Project Eve. It was like the Bayonetta we don't have yet. It
was given major Bayonetta vibes with like the design of the character, the type of the combat and everything. The only thing it was missing was the guns on her shoes, really.
and the hair.
The hair as well, yeah.
I'm just scrolling through a page now that's got all the games listed because I completely forgot. Knights of the Old Republic.
They opened the show with KOTOR remake, and I posted a tweet of like my facial expression say, "Holy shit, it's real, it's happening. We're finally getting a Knights of the Old Republic full on remake." I was not expecting that. And one thing I really wasn't expecting is that it's apparently exclusive to PlayStation again. And I don't know how I feel about that. To be fair, I don't know how I feel about that.
I think they were releasing it on PC, weren't they?
I think that, yeah, okay. So I think it's going on PC but PlayStation 5 as well. But yeah, other consoles are obviously not getting it, you know? So I thought, oh, come on. You've already got Marvel sewn up and locked up. You've got Deathloop for a year. Star Wars, you can't lock up Star Wars as well. That's just not fair. But anyway, it is what it is. That's business, right? So
true.
I'm just hyped for what they do. I'd be interested to get your take on this as well, because I was thinking about the combat system to modernize it. It's very much turn-based in this original incarnation. And I was thinking, do they do the option to play turn-based, or do they do like a real-time combat system, or do what Final Fantasy VII Remake did, where you can play it real-time if you want, or you can pause it and like play it almost like it's turn-based, like a pseudo system, or like do some kind of hybrid between the real-time and the turn-based, because the purists like me might want to play it turn-based, but then if it goes to real-time combat, I don't know what could the implications of that be, because it's obviously not just a port of the original, they're remaking everything. I'd be really interested to see like what they do to retain the original feel and vibe, but do they change the combat system to be real-time or keep it turn-based? I don't know.
A lot of games now are leaving behind turn-based stuff, though. Well, not saying every game is, but Final Fantasy, you know, they've gone from the originals being turn-based, and they've slowly, you know, Final Fantasy VII is at the moment it's real-time.
Yeah.
So games are starting to move away from the turn-based thing a little bit. The only thing I can think of that is turn-based that has just come out recently is Other Side. Other Side is like but it's slightly more tactical, but it's still turn-based, but it's tactical instead. But yeah, a lot of games seem to be just moving away from turn-based, so I really don't know.
Apart from Yakuza, that's gone the opposite way. That was always real-time, but then Like a Dragon decided to do turn-based.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel about going real. I mean, I'd probably really like real-time, but I'd also maybe lament the loss of the way in which it was a bit more tactical, turn-based.
Yeah.
What I actually really quite liked about KOTOR at the time, it was turn-based, but it felt like it was playing out in real time. You stacked your commands and they would play in real time. So it was still turn-based, but it didn't like pause the action for you to take your turn and then see what the result was. It was still all kind of feel like a real-time combat sequence. So I don't know how I'd feel about the same again, or just like overhaul it. I know the purists would be like, you've ruined KOTOR, you've made it real time. It's like, well, no, there's a whole other new audience that maybe wants real time combat. So I don't know.
True. Yeah. I mean, I love Final Fantasy. I love the old ones. I like the turn-based combat on there. But as I've started to play like MMOs and stuff, I'm all for real time now. So my opinion's changed a little bit. So just
and that's the thing as well. It's okay to change your mind and change your opinions on different things that you like.
True.
You know, the Twitterverse sometimes forgets that rule. You're allowed to just change your tastes on a whim if you want to. But were you expecting Wolverine to get announced?
I was just about to say, like, we should talk about Wolverine. That trailer, it was just we're zooming into a bar and there's a guy just, he's just sitting here like with his fist on the table, whatever, and then all of a sudden, pow! And it's like, oh, you didn't, like, come on. It looked really good. Like, there wasn't hardly anything in that trailer. There was a lot of Easter eggs in the trailer, like the license plate said Hulk on it.
Yep.
I think it was like a
apparently that refers to a very specific comic edition of Wolverine versus the Hulk. So people were you know what the conspiracies are like on Twitter and stuff. Everybody's like, if Insomniac have the Hulk in this game, we're gonna lose our shit. But even if it's just a nod to the comic and it doesn't have any like gameplay implications, it's still a cool Easter egg. But they're like, can you imagine if they do Hulk versus the Wolverine in the game? Oh my god!
Yeah, there were so many like little details that they put in, but everyone was just focused on who's this guy
Yeah.
sitting at the bar? Like, I didn't think anyone
Yeah.
thought it was going to be Wolverine because
No.
like even Rome was like Wolverine. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
I was watching it and thinking, it's setting it up like it is Wolverine, but I think myself and everybody was like, there's no way. There's no way that they're doing this Wolverine. Forget it. Come on. And then the claws came out and you're like, oh my God, it's Wolverine.
Yeah.
By Insomniac as well. It's like, this team needs to just take a breath. They've just done Miles Morales. They've just released Ratchet and Clank this year. Mm-hmm. And now they're going to be pushing out Wolverine and then Spider-Man. Well, I don't know when Wolverine's coming out, but it could be before Spider-Man 2 or after Spider-Man 2. I don't know. But it's like, guys, you just need to take a breath. Like, slow down.
I am hoping the devs are taking a breather, though, to be fair. Like, we don't want them in crunch. Like, so if you're from Insomniac, please take care of yourself.
Well, that was the amazing
cool stuff, but yeah.
that was the amazing thing about what the developers were saying is like they released Ratchet and Clank with no crunch because just really good production management, like really good producing, really good leadership. At the end of the day, it's like if you plan and know what you want to do, and I know it's not always fair to say, but you can always know what you want to make, but just like getting it made is a whole other challenge and can of worms and very, 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 very difficult. But they just like knew exactly what they wanted to do with Ratchet and Clank. They knew how they wanted to use the PlayStation 5 with its SSDs and everything. They knew they wanted to push like the ray tracing with like different graphics modes and everything like that. And again, they know Ratchet and Clank so well that to do a brand new adventure, it just seemed to just all fall into place. The team just like gels and flows so well at producing these games in that studio that they just punt out all of these amazingly well written. And that's the thing as well. It's like, graphics are amazing. Tech is always like improving and we're getting to this like higher fidelity state where it will become eventually just diminishing returns. But like narrative and characters always can be improved. But they do such a good job of just getting the characters, nailing the writing and the tone, the humor.
Yep.
It's like it shines through in Miles Morales. Like that character, they get it. They get his heritage. They get the characters in that game. And then, of course, Ratchet and Clank with the tone and Captain Quark and the characters in that game. It's just like, man, these guys are just like blowing the doors off everything that you can expect from them now. It's unbelievable.
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. It's just reminding me of seeing Trillian with the little kids with blown off.
Ghostwire Tokyo, yeah. So I'm kind of on the fence about this one, because I when it got originally revealed, I thought this looks amazing, but then they showed that it was all first person with like hand gestures to cast spells, and it's like supernatural. And then I was like, I don't know if I'm as excited for this anymore because I don't know what it is. It looks amazing. It looks super interesting. Yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
So a lot of times it depends what game it is. If it's stuff like Kena Bridge of Spirits, I know I want to play it. I know I'll buy it day one, or whenever I get it, like pretty soon to release. So I know I want it. Ghostwire looks awesome, but I tend to watch gameplay videos first before if I really like a game but I'm not sure about the gameplay, I will go watch it. I'll go watch on YouTube or Twitch first and then I'll buy it. Yep. I think it looks epic. It looks spooky. It looks just it looks different. It's different. It's something I've not really seen before. So I kind of want to play it, but I definitely would I probably would watch it on Twitch first just to see if I'm gonna like the combat before buying it. Yeah. But yeah, I like the way it looks. I think it looks awesome. So
it does.
It looks spooky.
I know. And the next kind of one that looks like super amazing is for me anyway was Forspoken. It looks so good. It looks like this weird like cross of genres between like medieval fantasy with dragons and old medieval architecture, but the present day stuff where the protagonist is this woman who goes through a portal and then she's into like another dimension or another world or something, and she's got all these like abilities, these supernatural like abilities, and just like traversing across the world, which looks insanely beautiful. It's like, oh my god. Yeah.
Spoke or something, didn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Looks
really
wild.
weird. Yeah, it reminds me of who was the developer? Do you remember?
Is that Square Enix that's doing that?
I think it was. Hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. When it first did drop, I did think it was by Square Enix. I was like, okay, it looks very. It's always like.
It's Final Fantasy like 15 kind of that kind of vibe to it.
It's also with the way you can always tell it's Square Enix as well, the way they do the anime. Like it's always, the characters are always so fluid. I don't know how to explain it, but if you play Tomb Raider, you'd sort of get a feel for what for spoken would be like. I don't know how to explain it, but it's you can tell it's Square Enix. Like it was interesting. But yeah, a lot of people just lost their minds over that one, so that was really cool to see.
I know.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna have a look at that.
I did want to see. Very expensive.
Yeah, true. I did want to see Stray gameplay though. I'm a little bit sad that we didn't get to see more of Stray. But
that's the one we play as a little cat in Japan. Is it set in Japan or is it just like a fictional city? I can't remember now.
I can't remember, but it's very cyberpunky and it does look a bit like Tokyo or something with all the neon signs and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's a freaking cat with a backpack on.
That's all you need to know, right? It's like you play as a cat with a backpack. Come on.
Yeah, and it's just so cool, like a little detective or something. But I was hoping there was going to be more Stray gameplay, but there wasn't.
I know. There's such an embarrassment of riches of games that are in the PlayStation library that are all kind of coming out, and like a lot of things obviously getting delayed. They're not ready to announce, but there's so much stuff coming. It's just it's crazy what we've got to look forward to. And God, this year alone, it's actually in a weird turn of events because of the pandemic. Like all the major AAA games are all getting pushed into like February of next year, which. For me, I think that's actually been wonderful because not only do I have time to actually play some games that before the next kind of wave comes out, but it seems like all like the indie games are almost like unaffected. I don't want to be flippant about that because I know they have been affected, but it seems like they've managed to keep their production schedules kind of like on form to a degree, and like games like Psychonauts 2 came out, Lost in Random just came out. I'm a huge fan of Zoink Games. They're the developers of Lost in Random. They've done Stick It to the Man, Flipping Death, Zombie Vikings. Their sense of humor is so weird and so specific that the games are just brilliant. And that game looks like a Tim Burton fever dream. Like it has this kind of stop motion like figures, like Nightmare Before Christmas kind of effect to it, Corpse Bride kind of vibe to it. Haven't played it yet, but it's sitting there and I can't wait to check it out. But it really does feel like this year has been way more emphasis on really interesting experimental indie games, and of course more coming. Like Sable is coming out. There's loads of stuff that's coming out. This looks super interesting and like lower budget because they're from indie developers. And you're thinking it's actually like the big juggernaut games have kind of like cleared the way to allow more emphasis on the indie developers because of the pandemic and everything. And I think that's like so rare, but it's so cool to see as well.
Yeah, I love indie studios. Coming from one myself, I totally appreciate how much goes into those games with a small team.
Yeah.
I love indie games. I think they're great. You've got your like God of War. That's sort of like the same characters and stuff, and it's not the same story, of course, but it's very familiar. And then you'll have like an indie game that is like complete. One I'm playing at the moment is Boyfriend Dungeon. Like it's completely different to God of War. So it's different. It's new. It's it's crazy. So yeah, it's definitely nice to see indie games be a bit more like upfront now.
Yeah.
which is really cool to see. I mean, I think the Steam store at the moment, I've just opened it before. It's like pretty much like all indie on my. It's got Deathloop, of course, on the front page.
Sure.
But it's all like Valheim was a indie studio as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. That's an
Yeah.
MMO kind of thing, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
survival, Norse mythology survival game. Yeah, yeah.
A few of my friends are playing it. They're really obsessed with it. So like that. But stuff like The Forest as well, that blew up when it got released and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Calico as well. It's like the cat cafe simulator. I've seen that everywhere.
Oh, there's a cat cafe simulator? Are you kidding?
Yeah, it's called Calico, and you literally just like manage a cat cafe. It's really cute. It's like a tenner on Steam as well. Yeah,
That's
it's really
amazing.
cute. It's very like cutesy art. It's like, you know, I don't even know what the art style's called. Artists are gonna butcher me for this. It's like a bold outline, like a black outline
Okay.
artwork, and it's like really pastel colours.
Oh, okay.
It's like that. It's really cute. Yeah, it's adorable. I love it. I haven't played it yet, but
God.
I need to. And simulators as well. I've noticed simulators are on the rise as well. Power wash sim, gas station simulator. I heard about that yesterday.
Gas station simulator. What, you like pump gas
Yeah.
to people's cars?
Well, I saw like a screenshot of someone like brushing up. So I think you literally work in a gas station. So you're
Right.
probably going to be like, you know, when people come to pay
Yeah.
at the booth, it's probably like, oh, how much diesel did you put in, or something like that. And then you'll probably manage the shop and then brush the floor or something. This is what I assume.
Okay.
But yeah, gas station simulator. Okay.
It's the era of mundane tasks put to games, like lawnmower simulator, pressure washing your car or your house or your driveway, and now running a gas station. That's like what?
And house flipper as well. And it is a simulator, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, house flipper as well. The last thing I want to do is my walls are white at the moment, because the last thing I want to do is paint them or put wallpaper on them. But
Yeah.
house flipper, it's like, yeah, I love painting these walls. It's like no one ever. Like,
Yeah.
you know, oh my gosh.
That's it. We
Yeah.
hate doing the manual labor task, but if you put it in a game context, yes, we could spend 12 hours just doing that.
Yeah. I think
But-
if humans just lived in a virtual reality world, we'd just do everything. We'd be like, yeah, I'll
We'd be
do
so
my house.
efficient, wouldn't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
What else? What else got shown at the showcase then that sparked your kind of like, oh my god moments? I'm trying to remember now off the top of my head. It's like everything is a blur after Wolverine. That was the problem.
There was Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah, was that at the? Oh okay. You know what? I really like the look of this. I'm really excited for this because it looks like Eidos Montreal, developers of the Deus Ex games, Mankind Divided and Human Revolution, outstanding games. They're behind this one, and it just looks like so much fun. It's single player, which I'm so happy about. It looks like they're really leaning hard into like the banter, the humor between the Guardians,
Yeah.
and they've got like the proper 80s soundtrack that is just going to be. I'm hoping I'm going to play through all of it with just a massive smile on my face because I'm just having so much fun at this game. And you know what Eidos, Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, Insomniac, their ability to render these Marvel universes is such incredible high fidelity is just insane. So it's going to look amazing as well. And I'm really, really looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy. What about you?
Marvel's really, really like pumping it up at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
I know.
I don't know. It did look good. I wasn't sure at first because it's weird because like I've watched the films and I've got a perception of how they look. So I thought it was going to be what's his name? Star-Lord, the actor who plays him.
Chris Pratt as Star-Lord.
Yeah, Chris Pratt. Yeah, I thought it was going to be the same, like, as in it was going to be like Chris Pratt and stuff in the game. So it threw me off completely. And then after I watched the trailer, I was like, do you know what? Yeah, this looks really good. I can imagine it's going to be just like stupid humor as well, like So yeah, it looks interesting. Yeah, beautifully.
Fingers
it looks
crossed.
good. I love Rocket as well. Rocket's like so cute. I love Rocket so much.
Yeah, what a raccoon. I know.
We're gonna need that guy. What is it? We're gonna need that, and that guy's leg. It's just like comes back with a leg, and he's like, just kidding.
Yeah.
I love Rockstar.
I know he's so cool. Oh god, there's so many amazing stuff to look forward to, Christina. It's just insane. It's like
Gran Turismo 7 as well. So
Matt.
I like racing games. I love using the wheels as well, like Logitech wheels and stuff like that. But I haven't played like the latest Forza or like Gran Turismo 6 or anything. I sort of like went off them a bit, and then Gran Turismo came up, and I saw that there was a lot more customization and stuff. Like you can properly go all out. Like this is your car now. You can you can put whatever decals you want on it, like where you want it. It's not just pick a standard template decal and you can change the color a bit. It's full on like customize the poop out of your car. So I actually think I'm gonna get GT7 because of the amount of customization there is. It looks really good. So racing games are really fun, especially when you're first person. Like I don't drive, so I can go crazy in a GT car, so it's fine and not feel bad about my driving IRL. So yeah, but I'm really excited for that one. So,
well,
shiny cars.
You know what the game of the show was for this PlayStation 5 showcase, and it was of course Grand Theft Auto 5 coming to PS5.
That was I love Rockstar, but they just keep pumping out GTA 5, and I don't know how long they can keep doing it for, realistically, because everyone wants GTA 6. How long have we had GTA 5 for now? It's been like
it's like 8 years or something. It came out on the PlayStation 3. For goodness sake.
Exactly.
Yeah, like the last 2013 it came out, because it came out the same year as Last of Us 1 got ported over to the PS4, and to be fair, they made enough improvements and enough like new features with the first person mode and everything that is like, okay, fine, I fully like invest in this and want to replay it again with the first person mode and everything. But I don't know what they're adding to it for next gen, for PlayStation 5 and Series X. It's like, really?
I mean, they keep doing events and stuff, like, at Christmas you've always got like a Christmas event on. Halloween they do something. So you can keep going with a game if you keep adding stuff.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. I'm not sure. I like GTA 5. I think it's fun, but I think it's I don't know.
I would honestly
style for me. So
I would honestly much rather a next generation port of Red Dead 2. Like give me a port of that where it is maybe like increased fidelity. Not that the game needs it, of course. It's an absolutely stunning game, but I'd rather they do more of that kind of stuff rather than make a third platform the home of Grand Theft Auto 5. And I know it keeps on making money for them, so there's no motivation to like ditch it and move on to other projects. But just give me like something else. Give me something. Give me like a Max Payne 3 remaster or something like that. Give me, I don't know. There's been a lot of interest and hype about Bully 2 eventually coming. Is it a thing? Is it not? Like,
I feel like they are working on something.
Yeah.
I think the more they keep showing GTA, it's still keeping them in view, if you know what I mean. Like they're still visible. Totally. It's like the studio we're still doing things. We're still pumping things out. So I think they're working on something in the background maybe, and then all of a sudden next showcase it'll be like, bam! So you love GTA 5, well we made this instead. It's like. Okay.
Does Rockstar? Do you think that Rockstar really needs to worry about like being relevant in exactly? Yeah, they can go quiet for 5 years and then just come out. That's what they did with Red Dead 2. It's like they don't have to keep on farming out Grand Theft Auto like constantly with the short cards and everything like that. But I mean, it's our own fault as gamers. It's our own fault. We keep buying it. We keep playing it. So
I mean. So when Skyrim got announced for PS5, was it PS5?
Yeah. That one I cannot wait for. I'm really looking forward to that.
So Rowan Shelf is pretty much Bethesda, right? He loves Fallout, he loves Skyrim, he probably loves Tom Howard, I don't know. And when Skyrim came out, he was like, again, another platform, really? And I was like, you keep buying it.
It's
You've got it
your
on
fault.
Switch. Yeah. PS3, Switch, Xbox. You've got it on Xbox. You even have an Xbox. PlayStation, PC. You've got all the ports, and he's sitting there going,
Yeah.
they released it again, another platform. I'm like,
Yeah.
you keep buying it.
Yeah. And buy it. And they're adding mods this time as well, so it's going to be a worthy experience, hopefully. You know, and fishing.
Everyone loves Skyrim. Yeah, and fishing. Yeah, I mean, everyone loves Skyrim, so it's just one of the games you can just remake characters over and over again and do different things with. And the memes as well that come out of it are really good. So, but yeah, people keep buying it. So it's like The Witcher 3. Like, I love The Witcher. It doesn't matter how many times I finished it. If it's on sale, I'd be like, oh, do you know what? I'll just buy it on PlayStation and just get some trophies out of it. Or, it's on sale on Steam. So I think it's like, it's like The Witcher. It's got replayability. People love it, So
totally. That's coming to next gen as well. It's just exactly. Apparently they're aiming for this year, but it might slip to next year. But okay, what do you want to see from the next gen version of The Witcher then? What would you like to be upgraded, added? What would the package be for you? Not that you need much motivation to buy it again, but if you were, it's like, okay, I need this to justify it to somebody to say, okay, I'm going to buy this again. What would you like to have?
Sure, I would really. So I'm a big fan of, how you've got a main character and you play them and you know what's going on in their life, their background. You play as them. You play through. Sometimes you play from when they're young to when they're an adult. So like Aloy, you play baby Aloy. But then you've got characters like you've got Rost on the side. We know a backstory about Rost. We know about his daughter, stuff like that. But we don't play as Rost. And then Ciri as well from The Witcher. Cirilla is born and she's meant to be like a princess, and she's then adopted by Geralt and Yennefer. And it's like, we don't see any of this. Like, I want to play as Ciri. I want to see what Ciri's story is. I want to see, how she's developed as a character. Because the first time you see her in The Witcher 3, she's running from the Wild Hunt. And if you hadn't played The Witcher before, you don't know what's going on. I'm just talking about The Witcher 3, by the way, as a whole. So you don't know why she's running, you don't know who she is really. It's mentioned who she is because you go speak to her original birth father and he's like, birth father? But like biological father. Yeah. And he's like, who's taking care of my daughter? And it's like, oh, okay, so it's Geralt's daughter, but it's not. And also Yennefer as well. I think Yennefer's quite an interesting character. So I think the main thing for me to keep buying The Witcher would be, give me more DLCs. Give me... I mean, Arkham Knight did it as well, where it was like, here's the full game, but if you pre-order, you'll get Harlequin DLC. And I was like, yes, pre-ordered. Day one. I took a day off work to play Arkham Knight, actually. Day one, I played Harley's DLC first. It was the first thing I played because I love Harlequin. Yeah. It actually tied into the story anyway, so if you do ever get Arkham Knight, try the DLC as well. For Harley. So,
like the sound of the baseball bat when she clubs somebody is comical. It's so good.
And a little Jack in the Box. She's like la 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 la, put it on the floor, and then the police walk past it, and she just blows up and stuff like that. I love her. Like she's very aerobatic.
She's like quite gymnastic, isn't she? She's quite
gymnastic. Yeah, she's gymnastic. So she's quite flexible, and it's really cool. Combat is obviously, it's the same combat system, but with Harley it feels different, so it's kind of cool. But I'm here for character backstories. If you've got a character in your game that is relevant but it's got a sick backstory and we're never going to play it, I want to see that. I want to see other characters have their own DLC. So
totally, I would love them to invest into that for a spin-off for Horizon Zero Dawn would be so good, because Rost is such an interesting character, and I'd love to be able to play as Rost or somebody else close to him, or some of the other characters. Silence, I want to know Silence character backstory. Like, give me a game for just him. Like, how does he know so much as well?
Elizabeth as well. Elizabeth
Yeah.
is, she was part of like Project Gaia and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what she was up to. Like we see it in the data logs and stuff like that. But yeah, for Rost, I mean, his daughter got taken from him, and he traveled. He got made an outcast because they were like, if you leave this place, if you leave Mother's Heart, you are an outcast. And he was like, you know what? That's my daughter. I'm an
Yeah.
outcast now. Bye. And then he went, and then I can't remember what happened to his daughter. And I probably won't say anyway because of spoilers. And then he came back, and they were like, "Oh, welcome back. Sorry." So I want to go. I want to like do that journey. So
Yeah.
I did think about this on the first game when it was first out as well. I was like, I would love Ross to be a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like characters like that. Jonah on Tomb Raider. You
Yeah.
don't know much about him, or Sam. You don't know much about her either.
Man.
Zelda. You never play as Zelda, do you?
Okay, we're gonna have to make your 5th appearance on the show just about our favorite side characters, and we'll create like, what could the backstories be? What could the games be where we play as them? Put it in your diary. We're gonna book that. We're gonna make that happen.
This is the stuff I live for. I just like characters that are like, they're relevant, and just there's so many backstories. People, narrative writers, they're so naughty. They write all this cool stuff, and then we never get to like actually see it.
I know.
Yeah.
So Christina, let's wrap up the show there. So for you, what was the big kind of game for you that would like make the show for you at the PS5 showcase? What was the one that was like that was it? That was like the killer game that blew your mind.
I think it's gonna have to be Project Eve for me because it would just look so good.
Yeah.
So and then God of War. Oh God. And then Wolverine.
Yeah. So many. All of them.
Project Eve. Yeah. Project Eve and God of War. One of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I could very easily go for Spider-Man or Wolverine, or the Kota remake, because that was one that shocked me the most. But I think I'm going to go for Forspoken because it just looks. It's an original IP. It looks like it's going to be fast and fluid. It looks gorgeous. It looks like it's going to have a lot of rich kind of character development and world building. So I'm going to go for Forspoken. So ladies and gentlemen, let us know in the comments what your favorite games of the PlayStation 5 showcase were. I want to say a massive thank you to Christina for joining me for episode 59 of the Weekend Catch-Up Club podcast. It's been absolutely brilliant. Our 4th time on the show. We're going to have to get a little medal made up, a little trophy or something.
That's great. It's always fun joining you on podcasts, so I'm happy to come back whenever you want me.
Yay!
So thank you for inviting me again.
Thank you. So friends, if you've enjoyed this podcast, do remember to give it a like and a follow, subscribe to the channel, and help us keep the show going so we can have more amazing guests coming back week after week. Speaking of, next week, I've got an amazing guest that I'm going to be teasing on Twitter during the week. So keep an eye out for that. Until next time, take care, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.